Hey there everyone, welcome back to Measure and Mix. Today I'm going to be making some Dollar Tree Valentine's DIYs that could definitely be used for spring as well. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. Alright, let's get started. This first DIY, I'm going to be making a pillow out of this craft fabric I found at Dollar Tree. It's just white fabric and I just unfolded it and folded it over the opposite way so that the right sides were facing each other, and then ironed all the wrinkles out. Now on the opposite side of the folded part, I'm just going to use my hot glue gun and I'm going to hot glue both pieces together. This is the long side that I'm starting on first, and I'm just going to start at one end and hot glue it all the way to the other end. Now you could definitely sew this pillowcase together. Also, you could use the fusible iron-on tape, or you could use fabric glue. It's up to you. I just had hot glue on hand and that is what worked for me. So I went ahead and continued hot gluing the two smaller sides down. On one of the smaller sides, I did leave an opening, so I only glued halfway down, and then I left that opening so that way I could fit my hand through there and turn the pillowcase inside or right side in, and then making sure I pushed the corners out so that way my corners were pointy. And then I just took some polyfill and filled the pillowcase up. Now if you're using stuffing from an old pillow or something like that, I would recommend using the lightest or white colored stuffing to fill this pillow, because the pillowcase is a little see-through, so if you used a different color, you would probably see it. Now I need to close that hole up that I left open to stuff my pillow with. So what I'm doing is just taking both sides and I'm just folding a little piece of fabric over inside of the pillowcase, and then I'm going ahead and applying the hot glue in between the seam so that way I get a nice edge. And it's not perfect, it was a little rough with my thumb, but it worked out. Next, I'm going to decorate the pillow with these treat sacks from Dollar Tree. I have a red pack and a pink pack, and all I'm going to do is go ahead and cut all three of the pink hearts out, and then I'm just going to cut one of the red hearts out. Now I'm just going to take those hearts and lay them out on top of my pillow and arrange them the way I like them. I had two pink, and then I had a red one, and then another pink one. And this reminds me of the, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the little sign that I bought at Target where it has all of the pink hearts and then one red heart. That's kind of what gave me this idea. And all I'm going to do is just go ahead and hot glue all of those hearts down to the pillow. Lastly, I decided to wrap each heart with some twine so that way it would cover up the raw cut edges of the burlap hearts and give it more of a cleaner finished look. I just started at the bottom of each heart and wrapped my twine upwards around the heart, applying a little bit of hot glue as I put down the twine. I only used just basically what was on the end of my hot glue gun to glue the twine down, so that way I wouldn't have a big hot glue mess all over my pillow. And that was it. I love how this heart pillow turned out. I think it's perfect for Valentine's Day and spring. For this second DIY, I'm going to use 4 of these stretched canvases in the 8x10 size, and I'm going to start off just by removing the canvas from the frames. I tried using scissors, that didn't work very well, so I just used a flathead screwdriver to remove all of the staples, and I just did this to all 4 of the canvases. So with my original idea, I was going to just go ahead and reattach all of the canvases to each one of the frames and have the frames exposed. So that's what I'm doing here. I just hot glued the canvas to the back of the frame and then cut the excess canvas from around the frame. And then I went ahead and attached all 4 of the canvases together to make a big picture window sort of deal. And I just use hot glue to attach everything. Of course, E6000 or wood glue would work in this case. You just have to wait for it to dry longer. But then I decided that I didn't want the canvas attached to the frame, so I just went ahead and removed all of the canvas, and now I have just a big open window. Next, I'm taking this heart sign from Dollar Tree, and I just took some sandpaper and used that to remove the glitter from the front of the sign. Now, this idea originally stemmed from something I saw on Pinterest, and I thought I would recreate it. Now, I did see a couple weeks ago that Heidi Sombel actually created something like this on a smaller scale as well on her channel, and she used different supplies, and I love how it turned out. It turned out so pretty. Check that video out. I'll leave it linked down below in the description box. I'm also collabing with her on this coming Monday on a video, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. Now, the next thing I did was just fill in that little hole at the top of the heart with some hot glue, and now I'm just taking some chalk paint that I had mixed in my previous video to get this color, and I'm painting the heart with 2 coats of that. Next, I'm just going to flip the heart over, and I'm going to remove the ribbon on one side of the heart that's holding it together, and I'm going to replace that with some of this lace ribbon from Dollar Tree. I just left some ribbon at the top so that way I could wrap it around the frame, and then I cut the excess ribbon at the bottom even with the heart. And then I went ahead and did the other ribbon on the other side, and I left one ribbon on while I was doing the other ribbon, if that makes sense, so that way this wouldn't get all wonky on me and I could hold everything together. Now I'm going to bring my frames back in, or my window that I made, and I'm just going to drape that ribbon that is attached to my heart over the top 2 frames, and then I'm just going to cut that excess ribbon and apply some hot glue on the back of those frames to attach the ribbon to. Then I decided to make a couple bows out of that same ribbon, and I didn't realize how hard it was to tie a bow without a thumb, but it is pretty difficult, but I made it work out. And then I just took some hot glue and I attached those bows to the top of the front of the frame where the ribbon meets the frame. And that was it for this DIY. I think it is so pretty in Farmhouse.
Now we scream, we fight, and no one knows the reason. We're both getting out of line. Now say goodbye and try to move on. I'll get over you, only wish that I knew how to go on. Baby, you and me were so messed up.
This last DIY really gives me the spring vibes, so I'm going to start off with this Valentine's Day red truck sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use a box cutter to score around the hearts that are in the truck bed. So I'm just going to score around it until the hearts all break off, and I am just left with an exposed truck bed. Now I need to remove all of that glitter that's on the truck, so I'm going to use a 60 grit sandpaper to sand the whole thing down and remove all of that glitter. Now it's time for the fun part, and that is to paint the truck to transform it. I'm going to use this Waverly brand chalk paint in the color Agave. I love this blue color. It's so pretty, and it goes with my decor in my home. Plus, it's something that I think is very spring-like and summer-like, and I can leave this up all year long. So what I did first before I started painting was I did take a picture of what the truck looked like. So that way I had something to reference as I was painting the truck, so that way I could get all of the details back on the truck since I was covering up all those details while I was painting it. So the first thing I did do was start off with a smaller paintbrush, and I just went ahead and edged out the whole truck, and then after I was done I just went in and filled the rest of it in, so that way I had my blue truck. Once the blue paint was dry, it was time to go ahead and do some of the details. So I used a black paint pen to do all of the tires on the truck. I just outlined them and then filled them in. I think that worked the best for me instead of using paint in a paintbrush. And then I came back and I traced around the window and then traced around the whole truck and outlined the whole truck in black. This is where taking that picture of the original truck in the beginning really helped me out, because I always need something to look at when I am trying to draw. I don't do very well just freehanding it. I just need something to reference, so that way I know it looks how it's supposed to look, if that makes sense. So as I was looking at that picture, I used my black marker or my black paint pen and drew the details on to the truck. If I messed up, I did have that agave paint next to me, so that way I could cover it up if I needed to. And then I had that white paint pen and I just used that to make kind of like the shine marks on the truck and make it look more realistic. So I think it did turn out a little cartoony, but I still like the way it looks and I love the color because I think it looks very springy. Last thing I did to this truck was I wanted to add flowers to the truck bed. So what I did was I played around with this for a long time to figure out how I was going to attach something to hold the flowers. Finally, I decided on these clay pots and I attached one right behind the wheel of the truck, and I made sure that it set flat and the truck set right up against that clay pot. So that way it made a stand for it and it held the truck up. You could just leave it as one clay pot in the back of the truck, but I decided to add two. So I wanted it to be a little bit higher and you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of the clay pot. So I hot glued it up above the truck bed and right next to the other clay pot. I reinforced the clay pots with a lot of hot glue to make sure that they wouldn't fall off. Lastly, I just filled the pots with some of these roses from Dollar Tree, and I love how this turned out. It's perfect for spring, but it's perfect for Valentine's Day too.
I know we had problems, I thought we could fix them, but we got tired. There's nothing left to do but to say good.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to tag me on Facebook and Instagram to share your DIYs, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.